Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us here at Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Help us grow the channel by smashing that subscribe button just below down there. It takes a second. Just give us a click. Be interactive while you listen. Smash a like. Leave a comment below. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, of course, YouTube, and still Ray's favorite, TikTok.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's been a while, so it's good to be back. I might mess up some stuff, but anyways, here we go. We got some NFL and CFL talk later on, but let's start off with the Winnipeg Jets and the NHL. The Jets are currently first in the Central Division, first in the Western Conference, halfway, a little past halfway through the point. Have you bought in yet? I know we talked about this 20 games in. You didn't want to buy in yet. I bought in. Have you bought in yet?
I'm in. I mean, they still have their little hiccups here and there, like the Detroit game kind of thing. But
Oof.
You know what? I'm in. I'm excited about the season.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes, where it ends up. You know, like at this point, I'm assuming playoffs are good to go, right?
Yeah, we're hoping. That's what we're buying in for, that they're a playoff team.
Yeah, you need a pretty big collapse at this point not to make the playoffs, right? But still half a season to go or just under that. So it'll be exciting to see what they can do the rest of the way.
Yeah, they are the hottest team in the NHL right now. Like over a 10-game period, they're 8-2. Devils are right there, 7-3-1. I think they've won like 5 in a row.
The Jets?
No, the Devils.
Oh, Devils. Okay, yeah.
They're currently running in, but good to see him play. Obviously, coaching a big factor in that. Let's give the Jets a report card since we are just past the halfway point of the season. What kind of mark will you give to the coaching this year?
You know what? I may be looked at a homer with my marks on all this kind of stuff, but I got to give them an A for coaching. A lot of things have been flipped around. We went from Maurice last year of, the up and down, a lot of defensive gaffes and all that kind of stuff. Bonuses seem to, and along with Arneal and the rest of the staff, have seemed to rein those in. And like we say, they have their games like Detroit here and there, right? Yeah. Where it's just a disaster and they get blown out or whatever. I mean, they made that game close afterwards, but the coaching has stabilized it enough, right? I mean, they've still relying on Helly, maybe a little bit too much in some games, but for the most part, like that game against Pittsburgh was a total shutdown the other day, defensively and offensively. It was a great game. It was a great display. The penalty kill has been really good, which has been terrible under Maurice for the last few years. So it's great to see that stuff. The power play is just over middle of the pack. So that's good to see too. So yeah, I got to give it an A right now.
I'll give coaching an A for sure, and beneficial for both sides here because it really needed to work for Cheveldayoff and Chipman, and obviously it needed to work for Bonus because he was like on the brink of retirement. Him and his wife were like, yeah, we're going to retire for a bit in Arizona, take it easy, because I think he was offered some jobs to go as a senior advisor to teams that were rebuilding.
Or assistants, stuff like that.
He's like, nah, I want to come to a program that's going to win, and the Jets fulfilled that. And he's obviously fulfilling a need that Chipman wants for someone who is familiar with the market and is comfortable with the market. He definitely fits that bill. And there's just a philosophical change. And I don't know if it's completely him in the locker room or if things were maybe overblown by the media and people named Ray about the problems in the locker room. Maybe that was overblown. You know what I mean? But he's definitely changed a full 180.
Yeah, I can't see that being totally overblown because then at that point you probably don't take that C away from Wheeler, right? There had to have been some issues going on last year or over the last few seasons or whatever. So taking that C away from Wheeler, it liberated him a bit. He's having a pretty good season, compared to what we thought. Yes, he's smiling. I mean, he even got his testicle blown out in one game and finished the game. So
that's crazy.
That is nuts.
For sure.
He's finished having his kids and all that. But
yeah, you don't need someone like who doesn't have the C to do that.
No, but it's just good to see. Like he seems to be having more fun out there, and it's it's helped him quite a bit, and it's helped the team out. Mark Scheifele has bought in to whatever Bonus was selling, and he seems like a player that has also taken a 180 turn, and he's got a lot of goals this year. He's back checking. He's playing defense. It's pretty good start to the season, man. And I didn't expect a lot. Obviously, you can go back and watch our other recordings, and I thought the Bonus hire was probably going to be terrible, and I thought it was just a stopgap. Like bring him in.
A lot of people
suck for a couple of years, maybe suck for Bedard. But the players
doing.
Yeah, the players bought in, man.
Vancouver is admitting they're sucking. Rutherford's God. At this point, of course, we're going to suck for Bedard. Wow. Let's talk about that goaltending that the Jets are leading on a bit. Other than, what's his name in Boston?
Lundmark or Allmark.
Allmark. Does he still have only one loss this year?
Yeah, let's see here, because he was
here with that. Oh my goodness. But other than him, Hellebuck is world class. He's been probably the most dominant goalie in the league. Kind of a 2-horse race for that Vezina at this point. But I'll give goaltending an A. I give it an A+ if it wasn't for Rittich. Rittich isn't bad. He's like 7-4. But he doesn't have that confidence that I had in Brossois. So, I'm being nitpicky here, but I'll give goaltending a solid A.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. I'll give it an A as well. I mean, obviously, Hellebuck has been fantastic this season. His numbers don't lie. He is second in wins to Allmark. Allmark has 2 losses now. But 237 goals against, 926 save percentage, 3 shutouts so far this year. And there's just multiple games where he's only let in a couple goals, 1 or 2 here and there. He's had his stinkers, but I mean, that's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen over time. To me, Rittich, he's done his job as a backup. Not the greatest, not the strongest. I wouldn't mind him, playing a little bit more games throughout the season if the Jets are playing well and still winning, because I'd rather have Hellebuck fresh for the playoffs come along, right?
Yeah.
But Rittich hasn't been too bad. I mean, the Jets probably had to score more when he's in net, but
yeah,
he's hung in there.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them forwards. I'm going to give forwards. I was going to give them an A- just because the bottom 6, they've been there. They've been solid, but they haven't been as visible as you'd like, especially the third line. But I'll give them an A because of the injuries they went through. They went stretches without Ehlers, Appleton, Perfetti, Wheeler, Manalainen, Barron, and they're still playing well. So I'll give them an A, even though originally I thought A-.
Yeah, I'm sitting them at probably could give him A. I'm going to give him a B+. It's like you say, it's been pretty good. They weathered the storm with those injuries. Lowry has actually impressed me points wise and the way he's played. I mean, the guy's sitting at 23 points, 7 goals, that's pretty good considering last year we were on him pretty good that he wasn't getting much. The bottom 6 for me, yes, is still a concern. Appleton's still out, so maybe that'll help when he gets back in.
Absolutely will.
Balance that scoring. But right now it is pretty top heavy, with Connor and Dubois over 20 goals, Scheifele at 26 now, I believe. So yeah, you're relying on those top 6. If they have a bad game, are you going to be able to get it done? Or if they get shut down, one of those lines gets shut down in the playoffs or late season, can the bottom 6 chip in? Gagne's also done well, 8 goals here and there. So, it's good to have Wheeler back. Perfetti's sitting with most assists for a rookie at 20.
Yeah.
So, and third in points, I think, for rookie. So pretty impressive season from those guys, and just got to stay healthy.
I'm looking for a third line that has Barron, Lowry, and Appleton.
Ooh. Yeah, it'd be nice to see for a bit and see what that can do.
That's a lot of size. That's a lot of speed for any team to deal with. So I'm looking forward to that line getting together.
Yeah, Barron has been pretty impressive too, man. I mean, he's all over. Like, he's moving, he's not giving up on plays, and his forechecking is pretty strong as well.
Let's talk about defense. And obviously, like you mentioned, the forwards playing defense better than they have, playing some better, be more responsible on defense. Also opens it up for the defensemen for them to turn it on the offensive, what you call it, flipping of the ice, the offensive flipping of the ice.
The offensive side of the ice?
The offensive turnaround. The offensive turnaround. That's what I'm talking about, which, is a lot of what Bonus' philosophy is. Play responsible defense. So when you do the offensive turnaround, the defense can help push into that. And you can see that that's really open to the defense. I'm going to give the defense a B+. They haven't really solidified that third pairing. They've tried to. Papienko, Heinola, Stanley, all have played decently in patches, but no one's really taken the reins where you're like, okay, there's a third line pairing. So I'll give them the B+. But hey, DeMello, Pionk, and of course Morrissey. Wow.
Yeah, Josh Norrisy. I'll give them a B. Like you say, that the top half of that D is pretty good, or at least half of the D is pretty good. The other one's still a little shaky here and there. That bottom pairing, I don't know, is Stanley going to get back in there once he's back? Sandberg's had pretty good games, and then he's had some weak games. Heinola has gotten a few. but not enough to really solidify himself in there yet. Pionk has been hit and miss for me so far this year. Points-wise, having a good season with 7 goals. Defensively, sometimes he is a bit shaky. But Josh Morrissey and Dylan DeMello to me have been probably their 2 best D. And what can you say about Josh Morrissey, man? 48 points, 8 goals. Like, that's a crazy stat line. And like you say, Bonus has activated that D and give them some rain to get out there and get some points. I mean, I don't remember since Bufflin, the D putting up this many points.
Dang, I thought Morrissey was already past 50 points.
No, just 48, 8 goals, 40 assists. So
still impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been he'll be in the mix for the Norris for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and he's played great defensively too. I mean, you can't just say the points. Like, he's had a pretty good season all around.
Yeah. So he is the player that's felt the bonus effect the most.
Yeah. Bonus has just trusted him, man, and he's let him go. Like, even the couple goals that he scored in 3-on-3 OT or whatever late in the games to get those breakaways, like, he is not afraid to pinch or make that move. And that helps having a coach that believes in you.
Let's talk about special teams. I'll give them a B-. What did you give them? I like their PK. Their PP is okay. I didn't plan that. That was dope. Anyways, what do you think?
I gave them an A just because their PK is sitting third, 83.9%. And the power play is sitting 10th, at 24.2. We probably expected a little bit higher considering what they could have on that power play, but they've been without, Wheeler, Ehlers, especially on that top power play line, right? So I'd like to see that improve a little bit in the second half of the season, but right now it's been pretty good.
And again, the PK, it's not just all about a systematic, whatever change. It's that they're taking less penalties.
Yeah.
Bonus has
less dumb penalties.
Exactly. Yeah. The stick penalties.
Yes.
Yeah? Exactly.
Oh, yeah. There's always so many stick penalties over the last 5 years, and it's just frustrating. And it would be in the offensive zone, right?
Yeah.
Like, even when Andrew Ladd was around, it was like, come on, man.
Really? So let's say as a grade out of 10, composite, all of these put together, what would you give the Jets? Not a letter grade, out of 10.
I'd give him at least an 8 right now.
Don't give me a flat grade. Give me a grade with point something.
You want point? Oh, you said 1 out of 10. So
I don't want 0 to 10, but I'll give them an 8.3.
Okay, I'll give him an 8.1.
Oh, all right. Friends, put your composite score out of 10 for the Jets. How they've been doing. Give us your thoughts on goaltending, coaching, forwards, defensemen, and special teams.
I got a question for you. I mean, we still got a month away from the trade deadline. You see them making a move? You think they should make a move?
I don't know what pieces they want to give up, because obviously their depth means a lot to them with the roster that they have. Like, unless you can get a really guaranteed top 4 defenseman, or even a solid 5th defenseman for maybe a draft pick. You know what I mean? For maybe a draft pick or something, then yes. But
yeah, unless you're like the main assets they have right now on the Jets to trade would be one of their D, right? But then you're probably bringing in maybe a forward, unless you're looking at trading Chaz Lucius or Brad Lambert, which is probably not a great idea either right now, or your first round pick, right? And it's apparently a pretty good draft coming up, so you probably want to keep that first rounder, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, but if you can solidify even that top 9 a little bit more, then go for it. But yeah, it's hard to say. Are they going to win the cup? Are they going to one move? Is that going to help them win the cup? I know you want to take that chance because, hey, you might not have the same chance next year. Maybe injuries decimate them and they drop down in the standings quite a bit. And you got that opportunity, but there's still some good teams out there that can stop you from winning that cup. So
yeah,
Chevy's been the guy to move in the past. So we'll see what happens.
Without having been able to think about this before and see who's available and whatnot, I would definitely make a move for a top 4 defenseman. I think that would make him a cup contender. Because they still are allowing a lot of shots on net and a lot of good scoring chances, surprisingly, which goes back into leading on to Hellebuck. So if they can get a top 4 defenseman who's solid at home, yes, because they're obviously a playoff team.
Yeah.
It's, what'll, like you said, push them to the next level. And what are you willing to sacrifice? I am willing to sacrifice draft picks and a possible either not Lambert. Any which way.
Chaz Lucius looked pretty good in the World Juniors too. So
I know. I know, eh? Good question. Good question. What do y'all think? Put it in the comments below. Let's look at the week ahead. The Jets starting on a 5-game road trip in the next week, Tuesday to Tuesday. First game, Montreal on Tuesday. Montreal is horrible. They should win.
Yeah. But you know what? Every time the Jets go to Montreal, they seem to struggle a little bit. It's one of those places. So probably be closer than it should be.
Do you think that arena gives Scheifele the shakes there?
Probably every time he probably faces up Montreal, but you know what? He could go on out and prove, that he is a good player, and that was just a brain fart kind of situation. So
that's got to be a tough one to get over psychologically. Like you train tracked a guy right there.
Yeah.
Like you could have like hurt him really bad. Like he's got to think of that every time he's in that building, and every time he gets booed, because he's for sure going to be booed.
Oh yeah, chances are he's getting booed for sure in Montreal.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. Unless he gets traded in Montreal or signs in Montreal.
Ugh. Toronto on Thursday. What are your thoughts?
To me, this is the toughest game out of the whole road trip. And like we say, sometimes when the Jets struggle and they struggle, and Toronto's got the offensive firepower to bring it to the Jets and test their D. So it'll be an interesting game. Hopefully they can pull one off against Toronto. They lost earlier this season, I think 4-1. So it'd be nice to get them back.
It should be a tough game, but Toronto's not playing very well. They're not playing confident right now. They're playing at 500 hockey right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good second game coming off of Montreal, a team like Montreal. Then they got Ottawa on Saturday, who's also playing 500 hockey, but they can be a pain in the ass for a lot of teams. And this might be one of those trap games, even though Rick Bowness doesn't buy into trap games, as you said a couple of days ago. What are your thoughts on this one?
Saturday night, Ottawa always seems to play the Jets tough. Like no matter how bad Ottawa is in the standings, it always seems to come down to a close game between them and the Jets. So again, I expect the Jets to win this one too. But again, it's a road trip. It's now their third game in 5 nights there. So could be a tough one.
It could be that Eastern, yeah. And then they're still on the East with Philadelphia on Sunday. Philadelphia down in the standings, but playing okay hockey as of now. They just got pummeled by Boston 6-0 today. So speaking of Boston, it could be a physically tough game for the Jets, especially at this point in the Eastern road trip.
And a back-to-back, right? So
I'd say overtime loss, maybe.
I didn't even check that one, but usually those Philly games end up being like an afternoon kind of game, which hopefully this isn't, because I'm sure Ottawa is at night. But so that could be a tough one going in back to back, and Philly in their barn. So, but again, I expect them to win. Like this whole road trip, maybe the Toronto one is the only one they should really possibly lose. Not they should lose, but Eastern road swing. Well, yeah,
I know Nashville's not that good, but they're still over 500, and still 2017 will always linger between these two teams. That was a battle of a playoffs. 2017. Is that right?
2017, 2018, right?
Yeah, that was a heck of a playoff series, and that's bad blood will be there for a while. So I think the Jets might actually lose that one.
Yeah, divisional matchup, and again, it's at the end of a 5-game road trip. 5 games in a week there, so that could be ripe for a downer, especially in that one.
I have the Jets going 3-1-1 on this one, this 5-game road trip.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Maybe I'm being optimistic.
Well, I mean, for the most part, it's teams that are below, the playoff line, besides Toronto, right? And a couple of teams that are pretty much at the bottom of the NHL standings.
Yeah.
And you got a team that's first in the Western Conference. So, you expect them to win these games outright. Mm-hmm. So, but again, road trip on the East Coast, things can happen. And I don't see them going 5-0, especially as much as I would like them to, as long as they beat Toronto.
I think, yeah. I think what benefits them is that they're having a couple guys come back recently from long injuries, so they're a bit fresher, which might help them in a long road trip like that. Maybe. Yeah. Science. Canadian power rankings. Canadian and NHL team power rankings. Speaking of teams that are at the bottom, I got Vancouver at 7. They stay. Like I said, Rutherford's like we're going for Bedard.
What a mess, man, that team is. I also got them at 7. They're terrible. Horvat's basically done. You had Quinn Hughes there questioning who is it, Tanner Pearson's injury, and how it was handled and all that stuff. Goaltending has been bad. Demko's hurt, but even with Demko, it was bad. So
yeah, they're not good.
Yeah. At this point, trade your asset, whatever you can. Like if you can trade Horvat, if you can trade Boser, whoever it is to try and get Bedard, man, I would do it.
So. Yeah, no doubt, eh? Yeah. Who do you got at 6?
I got the Canadians at 6. Dropped down a little bit lately, only 3-7 in their last 10. Yeah. And their goal differential is -46. So again, one of the themes with most of these Canadian teams is their goaltending is pretty weak, and Montreal is one of those ones that are having a rough time. So, but their future looks good with Suzuki, Caulfield, Doc. We'll see what happens next year, but I expect this still to be a building year for them.
Martin St. Louis was ready for this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And I think Montreal expected it too. They weren't expecting a run to the playoffs, right? So,
yeah. I have Ottawa at number 5.
Yeah, same with me.
A team that gives other teams trouble, but they just can't. They just don't have the horses to finish games off.
No, not consistent enough yet. Going game in and game out and playing the same way. That they're getting there. Again, another team with a pretty bright young core. More so than even Montreal has with Tkachuk, Stuzo, DeBrincat, Batherson, and Shabbat. So I expect good things for this team next year. Is DJ Smith the right guy to coach them to that place? We'll find out, but I expect them to take that next step next year.
Who do you have at 4?
I got the good old Edmonton Oilers at number 4. Right. I look at that forward roster, and you got McDavid with 83 points, Draisaitl 68, Nuge and Hyman both over a point per game.
Yeah.
But it's still the same issues, man. It's the goaltending is not as good. Campbell has been terrible. Skinner has held the fort a little bit, but the D has struggled. Darnell Nurse is hit and miss. Like, they're just not there yet, and it's unfortunate because how long is McDavid gonna be okay with this?
It's amazing how an organization like that, who had legendary goalies, pretty much from Grant Fuhr to Bill Ranford, and Bill Ranford, I say
Andy Moog even
very lightly. Well, Andy Moog is between
before
and Ranford,
and
again Ranford, he's not legendary to say, but he was very steady.
At his moments,
have they had a good goalie since then?
Again, they had what's his name, Rollis in that one playoff run, to that.
Come on,
but I mean, he was good in that playoff run, but that was it. Other than that, they haven't hit on that position at all. They haven't hit on D either, though.
Oh, they've been horrible. Well, they had Pronger.
Hey, he wanted out.
Yeah,
or after that Stanley Cup run. So,
oh boy,
it's interesting, and they're lucky that they're in the Pacific right now. That's pretty weak, and you're getting some easy wins out of it. Yeah. They're still, I believe they're in the wild card right now. So, but if Colorado gets it together, who knows?
Seattle's better than Edmonton.
Oh yeah, well, Seattle's second in the conference right now.
Yeah.
So
I got Edmonton also at 4. Who do you got at 3?
I got Calgary, another team, a bit better in their last 10, 6-2-2. Markstrom struggled this year, and I think that's hurt them quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Under 900 save percentage, so that's been rough. And they just got. I mean, Huberdeau was a little bit slow in the points getting there, but he's starting to pick it up a little bit. Kadri's he's doing all right, but you probably need a little bit more from those top guys.
The roster's there.
Yeah,
the roster's there. Are they starting to turn their ears on Sutter? Is he just too old school now? Is he starting to lose the room?
It could be. I mean, they've been up and around, and even they got 9 overtime losses, so that has definitely helped them get 9 loser points, right?
Yeah,
because otherwise they'd be well under 500.
Yeah.
So we'll see the way the rest of the season goes, but I'm not expecting much from these guys either.
I got Toronto at 2 because Winnipeg's better.
Yeah. 5-4-1 for Toronto in their last 10. Samsonov, Murray have been decent, so you can't complain there. But yeah, I still got them at number 2, Jets number 1.
What else is there to say?
There's nothing else to say. I mean, I know they're tied on points and stuff like that, but the Jets all around have played pretty good. So,
friends, put your Canadian power rankings or comments on our Canadian power rankings. I think we pretty much had the same rankings from 7 to 1. Weird, but not weird. It's just pretty much it's very clear what's going on with these Canadian teams in the NHL.
And it sucks because you think, okay, Jets and Toronto, pretty good season. Calgary and Edmonton, they're on the bubble, and then the rest of them are just pretty much terrible.
Yep. Yeah.
So
let's stay in Canada. Let's talk about Canadian Football League before we move on to football south of the border in the playoffs. By the way, do you have any reports on the Dallas Tampa Bay game right now?
Yeah, it's pretty much over. Or it is over. Dallas, minute left. Dallas are up 31-14. So Tom Brady just got stopped on 4th down. So yeah, that's game.
I'm so glad we didn't have an episode with playoff predictions, because I would have went horribly wrong this week. But anyways, let's go back to the CFL. Let's talk about our Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Players signed: Hardrick, Stanley, Jefferson, Jeffcoat, Wilson, Benson, Rose, Thomas. Since the signing of O'Shea, the nucleus is pretty much back.
Yeah, you got Big Hill in there. Did you see Big Hill? Jefferson, Willie Jefferson?
I think Jefferson and Big Hill were before O'Shea was signed as quarterback, but I did mention Jefferson, so shout out to Big Hill as well.
Yeah, some good signings. Probably means Couture is probably gone, right? Sounds like Dembski is just right around the corner too, because I think the other day Walter said he expected Jeffcoat and him to be signed soon. So
yes,
so they got that nucleus done. It's a lot of veteran signings, which I am thrilled with and all that stuff. But it's just these guys are also getting older. Injuries to these guys can happen a lot easier as they get older. But I'm excited for you. You got your base right there. And if you can fill in the spots, if Dembski signs, that's good. Bailey's still out there as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the rest of it. But pretty good offseason so far for Walters and O'Shea.
The big blow, and I forgot to write his name down, embarrassingly so, is the Canadian DB that they just lost to the NFL.
Taylor? No, what the heck was his name?
Exactly. Shoot.
Ford.
Thank you. It's hard to replace a Canadian DB like that. Like, even as well as McManus and Govea have been scouting, solid Canadian DBs that they don't grow on trees like that.
I was kind of surprised by that signing too, because he played sparingly with the Bombers, right? He only started a couple games.
Yeah.
But I guess he's got the size and prototype that the NFL likes.
Yeah. And so that'll be doubly hard to fill on the roster, because you have to do your ratio, and it's a DB.
Was Lawrence from Hamilton there? Was he Canadian?
Yes.
So no? Oh no. Okay.
No. But he was signed earlier too in the process, which is again a solid signing.
And Dalton Schoen's still out there. I guess he's still getting a few workouts in the NFL. So we'll see. That'll be a tough
loss. That'll be a tough loss. Speaking of players going to the NFL, big loss for the BC Lions. Nathan Rourke heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ugh.
Yeah, 3-year deal, futures contract. Kind of surprised by the place that he picked, but Henry Burris probably had a little bit of a factor in there, a CFL guy, obviously, and Doug Peterson is a really good coach and has worked well with QBs. I mean, we saw what he did with Nick Foles and even Carson Wentz. Yeah. Before Carson Wentz downward spiral. So good spot, I guess, to learn, over the next couple of seasons, and he should win that backup job, because I know Jacksonville has CJ Beathard. And remember him from his Niner days. He was interesting. So he should beat out that guy for sure. You learn for a couple seasons, and then who knows what happens after that.
But interesting to me, not good.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, and it's a big blow, not just the BC Lions, but the CFL.
Yeah.
Like, this guy had a legendary season. Like, he is obviously you can't go all on projections, but he was having a Doug Flutie type year, close to 6,000, if not breaking 6,000 yards. Almost 50 touchdowns. Legendary. And he could come back. He could very well come back.
It would have been interesting to see how that season ended up for him stats wise. And, if it led BC to a Grey Cup, if he had the full season kind of thing. But he's definitely going to be missed. He was exciting for BC. He was exciting for the league. I liked watching him play, man. I was on the edge of my seat every time he was on the field. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But he could bounce around from the NFL for a bit, as backup jobs if he can keep him, just like Stravler did. I mean, he just signed a futures contract with the Jets, so he'll be there for a bit.
I know Toronto just beat Winnipeg for the Grey Cup, but of anything in the CFL, Rourke was the biggest threat to the Bombers dynasty.
Yeah,
which can still happen if they win a Grey Cup or another or two. but he was the biggest threat because if he were to stay in BC for a while, are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I still expect Winnipeg to come out of the West next year, no problem. But yeah, if Rourke was still there, then it definitely offers a challenge. To me, there's no other quarterback. Jake Mayer, looked pedestrian by the end of the season, right? Who knows what's happening in Saskatchewan? Edmonton could still be a tire fire, and they don't have a quality QB yet. Vernon Adams could have a decent season with that offense, but he's still a question mark too.
I'll go get Fajardo. BC better go get Fajardo.
Yeah, Fajardo, I mean, he can probably end up in a better situation. But one of those teams, yeah, why not? Even
Fajardo,
in Edmonton.
With BC's O-line and receivers?
I think they're sticking with Adams, though, so I don't think they're going to go to Fajardo.
Stupid.
But where does he go? Maybe back us up someone. Comes to Winnipeg, back up Claros.
Fajardo? He'll probably go to Hamilton since Dane Evans is apparently going to Saskatchewan.
That's true, too. I guess we're still waiting on Mitchell to figure out if he's going to go to Hamilton or not, or wait for free agency. Where else is there? Toronto will probably go to Chad Kelly. Ottawa's got, speaking of Ottawa, Mazzoli re-signed till 2024.
I like that signing.
So that's, I mean, Fajardo's probably looking at a backup job, right? Montreal, maybe. But they still got Trevor Harris.
O'Day and Dickinson, you are dumb. They should be on their knees begging to this guy to come back and get an O-line.
Speaking of, I didn't think we were going to talk about this all, but I was looking at this article earlier. O'Day thinks the O-line was not as bad as we think. So
if we needed any more evidence that this guy should not be a GM.
Yeah, he says obviously there is stuff to fix, but he said it wasn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. So
what was the issue? He's trying to blame it on Fajardo again?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What a clown.
It's all on Fajardo. It's all falling on his shoulders, man.
Saskatchewan, you are screwed. The rest of CFL being pretty silent.
Yeah.
So far. Free agency coming up, though.
Yeah, we'll see what moves. We'll see what Bombers can hang on to. And, McLeod Bethel Thompson, what's happening with him in Toronto? Is he coming back or is he going to end up somewhere else?
It's Chad Kelly time.
Yeah, it could be Chad Kelly time. And you're probably, you're paying him, Chad Kelly, a lot less than you'd probably have to play McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Yeah.
Which opens up other spaces. Andrew Harris coming back.
Oh, he's not going to retire?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Where's Brandon Banks going to go? Where's Brandon Banks going to go?
Maybe he's retiring, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Some big moves coming up and see which directions teams go, especially Saskatchewan. We'll see what they do.
Absolutely. Let's go to the NFL playoffs happening. Playoffs, crazy weekend in playoffs. Let's talk about the Seahawks and your San Francisco 49ers whooping them 41-23. I'll go first since I have probably less to say. This is like NFL coaching at its finest right now.
Yeah.
You have Mr. Irrelevant playing in your offense, and he didn't play well. He did not play well. So you have this guy playing, and then you have D'Amico Ryans, who's pretty much on his farewell tour to San Francisco because he's going to get a head coaching job somewhere. They're in their prime to make a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting first half. The Seahawks were up going into halftime. So, a little bit of sweat going in there for the Niners, kind of look in the mirror and figure things out. Second half was a different story. Purdy wasn't great in the first half, got it together in the second half, and they just put it up on offense. And it got to a point where Seattle just basically quit. There was one long Debo touchdown that I don't think Seattle wanted anything to do with tackling him or getting in his way at all. And he took it like 70 yards for a TD. So a great second half for the Niners. And like you say, then going back to CJ Beathard, that he was a backup for San Francisco at one point, and even with Nick Mullins, you just needed a guy that didn't mess things up, and Shanahan will get guys open for you, right? Yeah. You just got to find those guys, but those two just couldn't figure it out enough, and turnovers would lead to missed opportunities. But so far, Purdy's been strong on limiting any turnovers, and he's looked good improvising here and there, but. It's also a lot easier when you have McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and that offensive line has been pretty good so far too.
Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Trent Williams.
Yeah. Like it's a pretty stacked team, man.
He's the most dominant tackle I've seen since What's his name in Dallas? Tyron Smith.
Yeah. It's no, go ahead.
If you want to talk about your 49ers more, you can.
No, I gotta leave it. There's still more games to go. Impressive second half. They had me swearing in the first half. But now they got Dallas coming up. So Dallas is going to be looking for revenge. At least it's in San Francisco for this game again. So
Dallas is not going to get revenge. Give me a break. But Dak Prescott's going to fold for sure. Let's talk about the Chargers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the craziest comebacks, third largest margin of points with a comeback. It's time for San Diego to get rid of that coach. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Like that team is like, I don't know where the Chargers, like what they did or why are they cursed, but they've blown so many games, even back to the Marty Schottenheimer days when they're 14-2 and just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. Like, how do you blow a lead like that? You had a guy like Trevor Lawrence throw 4 interceptions in the first half. You have Brandon Staley, who is supposed to be a defensive guy and has some great players on D, couldn't get it done. And it's funny to watch them blow that game.
No,
and guys lose their cool, like Joey Bosa.
Well, that's all about the coaching. They don't have to have an exit interview. They should be looking for a coach already. They should be interviewing what's his name, Sean Payton soon, because it's a joke. Like even the decisions in the last game that they had, they have nothing to play for, and they lose one of their good receivers with a broken back. It's just stupidity on their part.
And you got a pretty good running back in Austin Eckler. Use him. Even if it's just screen passes or swing passes to him, let him run the ball, kill the clock. Like they passed more in the second half than they did in the rest of the game. Like it just didn't make sense. Like,
how does a running back like Austin Eckler go in the second half 8 carries for 0 yards? How does that happen?
Bad coaching, bad. I don't know, everything. Like, what kind of plays were you running? Like, you could have put that game away. Like, you were up 27-0. Jacksonville got a late touchdown, and all you can manage was 3 points in the second half.
What a joke!
What a Chargers.
There were a lot of games that were like leads gone, and they're more laughable than exciting. Yeah. Let's talk about the Bills and the Dolphins. Josh Allen, what's up with that guy? Yuck.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be considered one of the best in the league right now. You can't be throwing multiple interceptions, fumbling for a touchdown return. Like you may have put up over 30 points, but he was not good at all. Like a lot of yards and all that, but for a starting caliber QB and supposed to be one of the top 5 in the league, you need a better performance than that, especially when you're playing a team like Miami that were, backed their way into the playoffs almost. And struggled over the last 6-7 weeks or whatever it was. So
they should have smashed them.
Yeah.
They should have smashed them at home.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. You're at home too in Orchard Park, Dolphins deep, caused mistakes from Allen and kept that game close. And Skylar Thompson, the rookie QB from Miami, did enough to try and win that game. Probably not enough. And he's still probably a rookie. And McDaniels probably could have helped him out a bit better on a few play calls. That allowed the Bills to take back the lead and ultimately hang on for the win.
The Bills, it's hard to believe in them. The team I do believe in, though, the Bengals, Ravens. Bengals are just coming into form. They're starting to look like last year's run.
But again, a great start to this game for them. And then, it's like they folded the tent and thought they were going to win this game no problem. After they went up, 17-9 or whatever, 7-10? Yeah, 17-10, I guess, because then the Ravens tied it. So not a great second half performance, and they needed a fumble and a mistake by Tyler Huntley to return at 98 yards for a touchdown on D to get the win.
That was crazy.
So
that was crazy.
Yeah. Huntley, man, you know what? Great game filling in for Lamar, and still being, he's only played limited games, right? Great job, but ultimately at the end, his blunder cost them the game. You can't stretch that ball over when there's a lot of arms in your way.
So as the GM for the Ravens, are you looking to trade Lamar Jackson before that time hits, or are you going to pony up and give him the big money?
I think I'm probably trading him. franchise tag him and see what you can get. You could probably get a pretty good haul. I mean, if Deshaun Watson got what he got, I would give more for Lamar. There's got to be a team out there that's going to give more for Lamar. And maybe Tyler Huntley's good enough to carry your team for what Baltimore needs.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Baltimore's never that type of team, especially if they keep Greg Roman to air it out all over the field. Right. So
yeah, but
they're more of a run heavy first.
I don't know what franchising will do. What will franchising him do? Like, he doesn't have to sign that tender.
No, but then it gives you the option to trade him if you don't franchise him at all. I mean, unless you can trade him before that, obviously. Right.
You have to before that, because if he doesn't sign that tender, you can't trade a guy, I don't think, unless he signs that tender and there's an agreement.
But then, and at that point, he probably has more control on where he's going to, right?
Yes.
Once he's signed it, because I'm not signing, you can't trade me to what's a crappy team?
I don't know, but hey, you can muscle your way to go to Arizona, where you can play with D-Hop if he can stay healthy.
I don't think D-Hop's going to be in Arizona.
Come on, get a good coach and keep that guy and get Lamar Jackson. What's wrong with these people in Arizona?
Well, you still got Kyler Murray. What do you do with him?
Get rid of him.
But there's obviously, but there's a lot of rumors of D-Hop not keeping D-Hop either. So
I say you keep D-Hop and get Lamar Jackson. Get rid of Kyler Murray.
Depends what they're doing at coach in Arizona. I mean, if Sean Payton were interested in that job, then I could see stuff like that.
Imagine that. Sean Payton with Lamar Jackson going to D-Hop. Oh, get out of here.
But if you're going different way on QB or on coach, then you might clear out any of the stars there and start from scratch. Probably rebuild a little bit and maybe trade Kyler Murray.
Yeah, well, he's trash. Let's talk about the Giants and the Vikings. The Vikings are who they thought they were. I didn't buy in when Kirk Cousins was dancing around with all that bling around his neck in the airplane. I didn't buy in. And see, sorry, Vikings fans, disappointed again.
It's another tough one to go down for Vikings fans, man. I mean, like, honestly, anytime you think it's on the up and up. But again, they won 7 games by 1 score, I believe, this year. So, coin flip those games next year could go the other way, and they got a losing record. Man, and it just boils, and not that it boils down, but it's a snapshot of what kind of team they are on 4th and 8, and your season on the line. You throw short of the sticks. Like, come on, man. Come on, Kirk Cousins. Like, it wasn't even prime time. You were still in the afternoon slot. You shouldn't have choked that way, but here we are. I mean, first year coach, maybe they'll be better next year, but I'm not expecting good things for them.
Their defense still stunk when it came down to it. They have no secondary
this year.
They have no secondary.
No.
And I don't think they should re-sign Delvin Cook. He's a free agent. I don't think they should re-sign him for money.
Is he a free agent already?
I'm pretty sure. It's just here to make money. Just keep that other guy, and then
you got Madison still. You got Justin Jefferson. Maybe we'll see what happens with Thielen.
Go get a corner.
They need to shore up that defense for sure.
Go get a corner. My goodness. And
Detroit Lions winning the NFC North next year?
Maybe. Hey, I remember on our preview, I told you, man, they'd be just like 500 or over, but they're going to mess people up, and they messed up Green Bay. I was so happy to see that.
That was crazy. That was a wonderful game there, watching that and then seeing, Detroit knock Aaron Rodgers out of there. So.
Wasn't it? Aaron Rodgers is already looking forward to the playoffs.
He was counting his chickens.
Yeah, now he can go and do his hallucinogenics.
Yeah.
Think about some more shit. We already got the final score from Dallas Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It's expected. Tom Brady, should he retire?
He's not going to go out like this. He's going to go somewhere else. Maybe he ends up in one of these teams. Maybe he ends up in Miami. Maybe he ends up with Josh McDaniels in Vegas. So
Tom Brady in Miami.
I'm sure there'll still be rumors of him ending up in San Francisco still. Who knows?
Miami should get Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr. There's going to be a lot of QBs available out there for guys to go after, but Miami's kind of got to know what's going on with Tua. But yeah, you need some kind of better backup there for sure.
Jeez.
Or starter, really.
Yeah, so the matchups we got next week are Jags, KC, Giants, Eagles, Bengals, Bills, and Dallas against the Niners. That's a rivalry right there.
Another one. Rematch of last year.
For sure. Rematch.
And many other years.
The 90s. Jags and KC. Who are you taking in that one?
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up going all home teams on these things. I'm going with KC. I can't see Jacksonville doing what they did against the Chargers. But I expect lots of points in this game.
It's Saturday though.
Oh, is it? Wow. Yeah. So that's so it's a week off for Jacksonville. It's a good still time frame. It's nothing earlier or anything like that.
It's a Trevor Lawrence factor though. It's a Trevor Lawrence effect. Undefeated since high school, college, and professional.
On a Saturday, really?
Saturday.
Wow, I did not know that.
Ever lost.
Ooh.
Does that change anything?
No, I'm still going to pick KC.
I also will pick KC, acknowledging the Trevor Lawrence effect on Saturday.
Just being in KC, I think that stadium might be too much for Lawrence. At least the last game was in Jacksonville, so helped with that comeback, and the crowd being, their crowd.
These are kids that are used to playing in front of 80,000 people at university.
Yeah, that's true.
All over him.
Yeah.
Should
be a good game, though.
I kind of want to take Jacksonville. I want to kind of take Jacksonville and Doug Peterson in this one. But yeah, I'll have to take KC and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think this one will be a better game than most people think. Giants, Eagles. This is a divisional game. And the Giants were hot going into the playoffs, and the Eagles were not. So I'm going to take the Giants in this one.
Oh, going for the big upset, eh?
Yeah, boy.
I'm still going to pick the Eagles. Obviously, Jalen Hurts and how his shoulder is will be a big factor, and that Giants D needs to step it up a little bit more. Like they played pretty well against them in the last game of the regular season. They were okay last week against the Vikes. They made the stops when they had to, for sure, but you're still giving up 24 points. If you play like that against the Eagles, they're probably scoring, more than 24 points. So that D will definitely be a factor. And Danny Dimes, can you get it done?
This is not the matchup the Eagles wanted.
No, probably not. It's a divisional matchup. It's the same with the Niners and the Seahawks one, right? Like, as much as the big gap was, and the Niners should have kicked their butt, it was closer than it should have been for a while. So this could definitely go that way as well.
This could be like an Eli Manning type win here on the Eagles in Veterans Stadium. Oh boy.
Hey man, I'm rooting for the Giants. If they knock the Eagles out, Niners win, the NFC Championships in San Francisco. So
that's pretty good. It's always a good day when a Philly team loses. How about Bengals and Bills? Who are you taking there?
Both these teams were not the greatest last week for me. I'm still going to take the Bills being at home, even though they weren't great there last week. But I still think I'm going to take the Bills and that offense to get it done.
Yeah, I'm still rolling with the Bengals all the way to the Super Bowl.
You did pick them.
Yeah.
I picked the Bills, so one of us is going out.
Joe Burrow is all cool because I'm already out in the NFC. That's for sure.
Both of us are.
Stupid Saints. Oh yeah, I guess so. Eh?
Yeah.
Now, so I'm going to take the Bengals here. I'm going to put it on Joe Burrow and that defense, and that, just seeing Josh Allen last week. Ugh.
This is definitely one of those games for me that could go either way for sure. Yeah.
Dallas Niners. I'm going to take the Niners in this one. That defense is going to be too much.
Yeah, I'll pick them as well, but I'm still. Dallas is going to be looking for a little bit of revenge. So I expect it to still be a good game, but hopefully that Niners D can shut down Dak in that offense.
Oh, for sure they will. Dak's garbage.
But one of those things is Dallas has a pretty good D too. So we'll see how Purdy can manage that as well, right? Dallas is probably one of the better Ds he's probably gone up against. Trying to think.
That Dallas D is not the same D that it was from weeks 1 to 8, though.
Yeah. I expect Debo to run over Trayvon Diggs a few times and get him scared, and Diggs will shy away after that.
Oof, that's going to be a matchup.
Should be a pretty good game, though.
Yeah. We'll see what Micah Parsons does, too.
Yeah.
He could be a game changer. If he can shut down McCaffrey, but that will leave George Kittle open. That's the problem. See? That's the problem.
It's a lot of weapons, and Purdy's just got to find that guy and not try to do too much. He's got to get the ball in one of those guys' hands.
They have 2 wide receiver ones right there with Ayuk and Debo. It's too much for Dallas. It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot to handle there compared to what Tampa was throwing at them today. Wasn't a lot, and the whole line for the Niners has to be good, and they've been pretty good so far this season. If they can keep that up and give Purdy the time to find those open guys, then Dallas is going to struggle.
Mike McCarthy's not that smart. He's not that smart. Let's talk about other coaches here. Let's talk about where Sean Payton might go or should go.
We talked on it briefly, and you mentioned it. I think he should go to the Chargers.
Without a doubt.
that's probably the best spot. Will the Spanoses pay that $15 to $20 million a year contract plus their first rounder to get him? We'll see. They went all in kind of last year with getting the pieces on D, trading for Khalil Mack and all that stuff, so they've shown like, hey, we want to win. We got this team to win. I think Sean Payton and that offense, his offense would work well there.
They have to go for him. I think that's the perfect match right now. They're not in rebuilding. It's time to win. Other than that, I'd like to see him go to the Raiders, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't care about that coach spending thing, but McDaniel sucks.
Yeah, it's not an open spot, and he's not going to go there in the way they handled the whole Carr situation. But I don't like any other spots for Payton anyways. Denver maybe, but it's kind of iffy though, because you don't know what Russell Wilson you're going to get.
Carr hasn't been traded yet.
No, but he's got another one on the market. Jimmy G is going to be on the market.
Maybe what's his name can be the glue that brings him back to the Raiders. He's like, Payton? We're bringing in Sean Payton. And Payton's like, I want to Derek Carr. I think that's the only way that'll happen.
Yeah, I don't see it. I can't see what's his name, Davis, paying that contract though.
Stupid. So they're going to start all over with quarterback and the Raiders. So they're going to suck for another long. They're not
going to start all over. They're probably getting either Tom Brady or they're getting Jimmy G. That's not starting all over. Is it going to be a good move? I doubt it. But
hell no.
You need someone that's going to throw. Do you think Devontae Adams is going to be happy? Playing a full year of say Stidham or some rookie?
But Tom Brady isn't good anymore.
No,
he's not good anymore. This year has proved that.
Maybe he works in Josh McDaniels' offense. Maybe Jimmy G is the right answer there because he was a McDaniels guy before too.
I guess maybe there definitely could be a case that says Todd Bowles sucks as a coach. Without a doubt, they've got to get rid of that guy. But I think.
But you still had Leftwich as your OC, so
yeah.
Bowles should have been hands off in that offense, really. So but the defense for Tampa Bay wasn't great either. But
power of Bruce Arians, man.
Yeah,
the power of Bruce.
Yeah, shouldn't have pushed him away.
Stupid. And of course, Dallas is always there. Sean Payton was, But I think they won. They won.
Maybe if McCarthy lost the night, then that opens the door for Sean Payton. But I don't think Jerry is getting rid of him now.
I'll take it their ass whooped next week by San Fran.
Yeah,
which could happen.
Yeah,
Jerry does not want to lose to San Francisco.
Not again.
You know that. You know that.
Well, they're already angry or upset that they played today on Monday and San Francisco played on Saturday. So San Fran gets 2 days of rest more than what Dallas would get. So
that's the way it goes.
That's the NFL, man.
Sorry, Jerry.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Josh Morrissey, whatever his name is. Yeah, Josh Morrissey. Shout out to him for making the NHL All-Star game and so far his successful start to the season.
What a crazy run.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm going to give a shout out to 2 Manitoba curlers. They're currently curling at the U of A in Edmonton. Curlers Brianna Cullen from Swan River and Serena Gray Withers from Rosewood, Manitoba. They're going to the World University Games to represent Canada. Shout out to y'all. All the best. Good luck. Have fun. That was a great episode back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been quite a bit. So it's good to get back on this air and get another episode up.
Yeah, I forgot what this show was called for a while. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Again, thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, check us out. Let us know what you like and have a good week.
And to steal the famous words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime, in the between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.